Fyodor Dostoevsky entered the world on November 11, 1821 in Moscow. His childhood unfolded inside the walls of the Moscow Mariinsky Hospital for the Poor, where his father served as a doctor. Imagine the corridors, silent, cold, filled with the muted cries of suffering people. Young Fyodor walked through them daily. Those early exposures to hardship, illness, and the rawness of human pain left a permanent mark on his imagination. His mother, Maria, was gentle, affectionate, and deeply spiritual, the warm counterbalance to his father's stern discipline. She encouraged reading, and Fyodor devoured everything: saints' lives, fairy tales, French literature, the Bible. At age 7, he read his first secular novel, and something ignited. Books were never mere entertainment to him. They were a window into the soul. But the tranquility shattered early. His mother died when he was just 15, leaving an emotional void that haunted him for years. Soon after, he and his brother Mikhail were sent to St. Petersburg to study engineering, a field Fyodor respected but never loved. St. Petersburg was everything Moscow was not: icy, cynical, aristocratic, restless. And Dostoevsky, quiet but observant, absorbed it all. He graduated as a military engineer, but the army did not inspire him. Writing did. His breakthrough came with the publication of Poor Folk in 1846. Overnight, the young engineer became a rising literary star. Critics welcomed him as the successor of Gogol. A new voice had arrived, one who understood the struggles of the marginalized. But fame was fleeting. Dostoevsky's next works disappointed critics. And as pressures mounted, he joined a group of intellectuals who met to discuss social ideas and the future of Russia. He had no idea how drastically this choice would change his destiny. In 1849, Dostoevsky was arrested with the Patriotsky Circle. Accused of engaging in forbidden political discussions, he spent months in prison awaiting judgment. Then came one of the most dramatic moments in literary history. Dostoevsky and his fellow prisoners were taken to a public square, tied to posts, and informed they would be executed. Just moments before the command, a messenger arrived. The execution was a pretense. The Tsar had commuted their sentence to hard labor in Siberia. The experience left Dostoevsky profoundly changed. He later described how confronting death opened his eyes to the value of every second of life. Siberia followed. 4 years in a labor camp, then years of compulsory military service. The camp conditions were brutal: cold, hunger, confinement. But Dostoevsky was forced to live among men society considered irredeemable. Instead of breaking him, the experience deepened his compassion. The Bible was his only permitted book. Night after night, it reshaped his worldview, planting the seeds of faith, suffering, redemption, and psychological exploration that will define his future masterpieces. By the time he returned to St. Petersburg in 1859, Dostoevsky was not the same man. The city had changed, and so had he. He wrote passionately, but lived chaotically. Money troubles haunted him. He supported his brother's family, launched a magazine, and battled a fierce addiction to gambling. At the roulette table, he chased losses, convinced that only one final spin would save him. Instead, he sank deeper into debt. Yet amidst the chaos, he found love. His first marriage to Maria Mitrivna was troubled, marked by illness and emotional distance. After her passing, Dostoevsky met Anna Nikitskina, a disciplined 20-year-old stenographer he hired to help him finish a novel under a crushing publishing deadline. Their bond was unexpected but profound. Anna, calm and organized, anchored Dostoevsky's stormy world. Their marriage became one of the most beautiful partnerships in literary history. She managed finances, preserved his manuscripts, and protected his legacy. What followed was an era of astonishing creativity. Dostoevsky wrote with urgency, conviction, and an almost spiritual intensity. His novels did not simply entertain, they dissected morality, freedom, guilt, redemption, and the human mind. Crime and Punishment, 1866. A psychological journey into the conscience of a young man who believes he can justify wrongdoing. The novel captures the suffocating poverty of St. Petersburg and the torment of a mind at war with itself. The Idiot, 1869. His attempt to portray a perfectly good man. Prince Mishkin, gentle, pure, naive, walks into the cruelty of society and is nearly consumed by it. Demons, 1872. A dark portrayal of political extremism, ambition, and moral decay. It warns how unchecked ideology can destroy a nation. The Brothers Karamazov, 1880. His final and perhaps greatest work, a sweeping exploration of faith, reason, family, violence, forgiveness, and the eternal question. If God is not, then everything is permitted. Each novel broke new ground. While other writers painted external worlds, Dostoevsky descended inward, mapping the labyrinth of the human psyche decades before psychological science existed. His characters were not characters, they were living dilemmas, torn souls, desperate prayers, contradictions, walking on two legs. Dostoevsky did not know how deeply his work would resonate. Today, he stands among the greatest writers who ever lived. His influence touches psychology, theology, philosophy, law, politics, and modern literature. Freud called him one of humankind's greatest psychologists. Kafka, Nietzsche, Camus, Baldwin all drank from his well. Through his books, millions confront themselves, their doubts, their fears, their buried desires, their longing for meaning. Dostoevsky believed that human beings are capable of profound darkness, but also extraordinary redemption. He never stopped insisting that even in suffering, the possibility of transformation remains. Dostoevsky's final years were calmer, surrounded by his wife and children. He continued writing, thinking, wrestling with ideas. He passed away in 1881, leaving behind pages that still breathe with life. He once wrote, "Beauty will save the world. Not a simple beauty, but the beauty found in truth, struggle, and the human heart." Fyodor Dostoevsky lived through suffering, loss, rebirth, and revelation. And from the fragments of his own life, he built stories that illuminate the hidden corners of ours. If you've ever searched for meaning, if you've ever fought with yourself, if you've ever tried to rise again after falling, You've already walked in Dostoevsky's world.